Hello, everyone, and welcome to Revolutionary Reflections. I'm your host, Alex, and welcome to the very first video on this channel. For those wondering, Revolutionary Reflections is started out as a podcast focusing on politics and global news as well as other things. I did intend to expand to video and live streaming content in the future, but this one's hastily produced due to the situation in the Middle East. For those of you who are wondering, the United States and Israel have attacked Iran a few days ago on the premise of they cannot have nuclear weapons. You heard that right. They cannot have nuclear weapons, despite very clearly last year this was a thing.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime the world's most dangerous weapons. His leadership today has created a pivot of history that can help lead the Middle East and beyond to a future of prosperity and peace.
Oh, for those who are wondering, yes, that has been a thing for nearly 2 decades at this point, where Benjamin Netanyahu has claimed that Iran has been developing nuclear weapons. Now, Iran is a large nation that has many ethnicities in it. Most of their nuclear developments have been in nuclear power. Um, and yeah, this has been a thing that's been going on for so long at this point. And with Trump being the most malleable president that we've ever had, every time Netanyahu visits Washington, you have pretty much something always happening, right, with Iran. Iran has always capitulated to American and Western demands, saying, hey, we're not doing any nuclear weapons. We're going to stop right now. They stopped or slowed down. And every time there's a talk, especially with Donald Trump as president, something always happens. That something is always airstrikes. Now, for those of you wondering, what did they hit on this time, right? Because the obliteration of the Iranian nuclear program happened last June, as you've seen on the video. Not surprisingly, they struck a elementary school, hospital, and police station, right? This is the United Nations here. They've killed pretty much 150, wounding almost 100 on the elementary school thing. I think it was 2 elementary schools they struck, I believe. And it might be, and I don't remember what it is exactly, but I'm sure it was Israeli strikes that targeted these buildings. They also struck government buildings like the IRGC headquarters, as well as killing Ali Khamenei, This is the late supreme leader of Iran. Um, right, they killed him alongside with like family members at his at his residence. Which unironically did martyr him. As you know, everywhere in the Middle East, Iraq, um, some parts of Iran, most parts of Iran. I think Pakistan as well. They did mourning for Khamenei, but yeah, these airstrikes didn't go up without retaliation, right? Because like I said, Iran is a large nation, multi-ethnic. The IRGC, Islamic Republic Guard, is pretty much there's pretty much two governments in Iran. The IRGC is one, and the Iranian government is the other. Now, Iran struck targets within military bases in other countries that the United States has, right? Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, right? Wherever America is, they struck targets. Um, Primarily, early warning sites have been, destroyed at this point, which is odd because as we look here, Operation Epic Fury, or Epic Fail as you want to call it, has a lot of assets deployed in the region, which also includes Aegis naval warships. Now, for those who are wondering, Aegis is a missile interception system that can also intercept aircraft. Most of these early warning sites in the military bases have been struck with Shahed drones, which are the slowest things in the world, as well as missile strikes. Now, there are some things that you're probably seeing here: Patriot missile systems and THAAD. Two things that are highly that would highly work properly, but THAAD has had multiple issues, right, requiring more than one interception, missiles to intercept, and something with Patriot, right? Because it all links together. You need early warning systems to figure out what the or not rockets, missiles are intercepting, and you have the right command and control, right? The E3s. There is so much equipment in the region, right? I believe half the Navy is in the region, which is also risking half the Navy and potentially exposing the United States because everyone's all concentrated to be around Iran. Now, like I said, Iran was able to destroy early warning sites. You have all these interceptor systems, right? Patriot, THAAD, Aegis. They're all there, but they seemingly don't seem to defend targets. In fact, if I pull the right one here, Saudi Arabia has said, "Hey, you abandoned us. You're supposed to be defending us, right?" As here breaking, this was earlier in the morning. Saudi official says the United States abandoned them and redirected its air defense to protect Israel. They left all the Gulf states that host American military bases at the mercy of Iranian strikes. Um, True, because if the missile defense systems were working as intended, right, Patriot, THAAD, Aegis, um, most of the bases would be fine, and there wouldn't be much issues, right? Um, but since then, a lot of things have happened, right? We have 3 U.S. F-15s that were accidentally shot down in Kuwait due to friendly fire, which is odd because 3 F-15s, right? You shoot down one, that's one thing. You shoot down two, okay, what's going on? Shoot down three is like, okay, what are you shooting at, right? Because there's IFF, identify friend or foe, um, and there's all these measures in place to prevent friendly fire accidents. Yet 3 F-15s got shot down. Now these are F-15E Strike Eagles, which are manned by two persons, right? Your pilot and then your weapons officer. So one F-15 is two people. 3 F-15s is 6 people that got shot down. They're all safe though, but like I said, There's been systems in place to prevent such things, as well as, you know, Iran hitting Amazon data centers in the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Aramco, ports, all these things. Why are they shooting at them? Because U.S. military bases are there, U.S. military officers are there. Anywhere where the U.S. military is at or potentially at has been struck by with a rocket or missile or drone. These aren't random targets. These are targets that were chosen because you have military targets in them, which is weird because you're like, hey, why are they using civilian shields? I don't know. Israel does the same thing, right? Hiding within the civilian population, because most military officials, soldiers, don't live on military bases. They live outside of the military bases. Why? That's a question that you can ask. But then you have things like Fox News, right? Fox News being like, hey, War Secretary Pete Hegseth tells the nation, we didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it. We're finishing a war. What war? I don't know, but we are at war, apparently. So, yeah. And most of the U.S. population do not want a war with Iran, which I wish I pulled up the tweet, but I don't have it. But most of the U.S. population does not want to start a war with Iran because it is something that Donald Trump campaigned against, right? He's like, hey, I don't want to start new wars. I started new wars with Iraq, with anyone really. And he managed to start another war with Iran. I think it was, if I remember correctly, like a 27% approval rating for the war, which is not surprising. Now, if you're wondering about the Iranian diaspora, they're celebrating. The Iranian diaspora are celebrating that maybe not, hopefully not, their family members don't get killed during this whole operation, which is insane because, one, most of these diaspora are not going to go back to Iran. I'm sorry to tell you this. Like, they say they will, but in reality they won't, right? They live cushy lives out here in the West. So going back to Iran is just one weird thing. And also, a lot of people have died, right? Let's take a look. This is Al Jazeera. This was earlier in the day as well. 555 Iranians have been killed, hundreds injured. Lebanon, Iraq, Israel. Notice that Israel is way over here, by the way. Iran and Israel are not close to each other. There's a buffer. All these countries in the middle: Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Jordan, Iraq, Lebanon, Qatar, Bahrain, UAE, Oman. They're all sponges for Israel. Right? And as for the U.S. side, 4 killed. I believe that number is now 5, 4 injured. So we have pretty much U.S. service members dying on a war that should have never happened to a country that has fierce opposition, right? Especially when it becomes, the IRGC. Iran is not a small nation, like I've said before. It's a multi-ethnic nation. It is a nation that has, over time, built up its defenses in anticipation for events like this, because the United States, year after year, have always said, we're going to come after you one of these days. Better watch out. Don't make nukes. And here we are now. For those of you wondering, this will cause destabilization in Iran, because you have, like I said, multi-ethnic. You have hundreds of thousands of people living there. You have the IRGC. You have the government. You're gonna have splinter groups. Everyone's gonna take power. There's gonna be a power vacuum. The craziest person that the United States will install, if the United States ever get to the point of claiming victory over Iran for Israel, um, will be the most insane person that just throws people off roofs. If the country isn't broken up by then. Because Iran, in the past, present, is a nation that is highly developed. It's not Afghanistan. It's not Iraq. It's a highly developed nation. It's basically a modern nation that has capabilities to function as a modern nation. Iran is a sovereign nation that has been attacked by two aggressors, Israel and Iran, or the United States. Two aggressors have attacked a sovereign nation. Why? I'll tell you why. Because Iran has opposed many things to Israel, right? Whether it's expansionism, whether it's the killing of Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank, um, whether it's supporting the Hezbollah in Lebanon, all that has been pretty much to keep Israel in check. Now, getting rid of Iran uh, allows Israel to do whatever it wants in the region, because Iran is the holding point, right? Iran's holding pretty much everything, preventing from happening further. Get rid of Iran. Israel's like, okay, we'll just keep expand. We'll just do the Greater Israel Project and expand greatly across the Middle East, right? Without this check, anything can happen. The United States gets their oil unchecked, sets the prices and everything. Corporations get a profit, not the people of the United States, but corporations get profits. We lose American citizens on this fight because it's not Elon Musk, it's not Jeff Bezos, it's not Donald Trump, not Barron Trump that are fighting these wars. These are just normal people, working class, who are fighting these wars. Drawing blood for what reason? Oil? Civilians will die because of this. Civilians have died because of this. Let me go back to this graphic. Civilians have died because of this. And many more will die due to a destabilized Middle East. Because, like I said, Iran's very much been holding on its own. Israel over here is the aggressor in the region. All these other countries are just hanging out, hosting, U.S. military bases or Western military bases. Without Iran, the whole region gets heavily destabilized because at this point, it's like, okay, we got these allied nations. We got rid of the big bad country over here. Let's just do whatever we want. But not knowing that Iran's heavily destabilized at the end of the conflict, if there was ever an end to this conflict, is heavily destabilized. Now, every single country in the region is going to war at that point. Iran struck across all these nations out here. Why? Like I said, we host military bases in their countries, and Iran's like, okay, you attack us, we attack your bases. That's it. Iran doesn't have intercontinental ballistic missiles. They don't have nuclear weapons. They can only strike within the region. These claims that, Donald Trump and everyone says. And then also you have things like, if I can find it, where the Pentagon says, hey, we weren't told of any threats of that Iran will attack first, right? Because there's always this claim where Iran's going to attack first, which in reality, we attacked first. Iran has no intention to strike first because they're still trying to, preserve their existence. There is no striking. So, yeah, as the developments continue, I'll keep you guys informed and intact. Hopefully, this ends soon. Otherwise, the Middle East will be heavily destabilized. This is your host Alex, and thank you for watching this video from Revolutionary Reflections, and I'll see you guys next time.